and happy Valentine's Day. My name is Solmaz Tegavi. I'm an immigration attorney and I'm here with the awesome Narina. She is our team practice manager and she's also our head paralegal. So if you start a case with us, she's going to be your first point of contact. She's going to be our first point of contact and she's going to walk you through her case. And yeah, love knows no boundaries. So this Valentine's Day, we're here to do a live to answer your questions, to talk about fiancé visas and spousal green card applications. So Narina, take it away.
Yeah, we want to remind you that we're running a special. It's 15% off on your fiancé visa case or a marriage-based case until the end of February in honor of the Valentine's Day. So that's exciting news, and this is your opportunity to ask any questions you might have about the process. And while we're waiting for you to gather the questions, we already have some of the questions that our followers sent to us, which we will address here shortly. But Solmaz, can you tell us a little bit about fiancé visa and the marriage-based visa?
Sure. So let's start with the fiancé visa. The fiancé visa is my favorite type of immigration case. If you are in a relationship with someone abroad or someone who's foreign and you're a U.S. citizen and you're not ready to make that commitment to get married, but you want them to come to the United States, meet your friends, meet your family, see how you live, see if they can live here in the U.S. with you, you should try out the fiancé visa. It's probably the shortest route, although during COVID it got a little bit longer. It used to take just 6 months from start to finish to get your fiancé to the United States. Eligibility. What the government is looking for a fiancé visa is that you've met in person in the last 2 years. That's one of the main things that they're looking for, and that you have the intention to come to the U.S. so you could potentially get married to your fiancé.
Perfect. So what are other eligibility requirements? Can one be a green card holder to file for the fiancé?
So as a green card holder, you cannot file a fiancé visa. It's only for U.S. citizens. Let me go back to eligibility requirements for green card applications. So this is for people who are applying for their spouse. You could be a green card holder or a U.S. citizen. Your spouse, who's a foreign national, could be in the United States or outside of the United States, and we can make it work. What the government is looking for is 2 major things, is what I like to describe. First, that it's a true marriage or a bona fide marriage. So documents like joint bank account, joint bills, joint health insurance, or if your spouse is abroad, maybe you send them money through wire transfers, you financially support them. That's number 1. Number 2 is that they're looking for the petitioner, who is the U.S. citizen or green card holder, that they can financially sponsor you. And if you don't make enough income, then you can get a co-sponsor to help you with that part of the process.
Okay. Is there any interview associated with those visas?
Yes. So with the fiancé visa, once your fiancé visa is approved, you're then going to go for an interview at the U.S. consulate abroad in your home country. So if you hire our law firm, we will help you with that interview process. We'll help you put together that package. We'll prepare you with questions, and we're very well versed of the type of questions they may ask. So we'll prepare you for that. For the spousal green card, that's going to depend if you're in the United States, if the foreign national, your spouse, is in the United States or abroad. Both are going to have an interview process. They're a little bit different. If you're located in the United States, that's kind of a bigger interview process with USCIS. And of course, as your representatives, we will have a prep meeting. So for an hour, I'll meet with both of the couples, with the couple together, and go through some practice questions, some advice, and we also prepare any updated packages if, by the time you go for the interview, maybe you had a baby, maybe you bought a house together. We'll put together that supplemental package and make sure you're ready for that interview.
I'm prepared. Yes, absolutely. So what if the fiance or a spouse has children? Is it possible to bring children along?
Yes, so with the fiancé visa and the spousal green card, you can bring children. We call them derivatives, so they can be underneath the application and come as well.
Okay. How long does it typically take to process a K1 fiancé visa?
So like I said, pre-COVID, it could have been as short as 6 months. Now it's a little bit longer. During COVID, it got longer and then it shortened a bit. So I would say about 8 months to 10 months, could be shorter, could be longer. These are always difficult to answer because it depends on the consulate. So every U.S. consulate abroad, it just depends on that country's situation, how many people are in line. So that could also affect the situation as well.
Okay, so what about the arranged marriage or a traditional marriage? How does it affect the couple?
So we have a lot of experience here at TIL with people that are in arranged marriages, who do have traditional marriages, who may be Muslim and they may not have this long courtship of dating or living together. It's just what we call a more traditional marriage. That's perfectly okay. You can still apply for your spouse's green card. You can still do a fiancé visa. The only thing that I want to note is that in Islamic law, there is something called an act or a nikah. So in Islamic law, that may be considered an engagement for a fiancé visa, but under US law, that is considered a marriage. So I've had people who thought they were getting engaged and they wanted to do the fiancé visa, but turned out they actually, under US law, got married. So make sure you take note of that if that is your circumstance.
Okay, that brings up another good point. So does USCIS consider it legal marriage as if, let's say, it's a proxy marriage, which means it was done remotely over Zoom or a phone? You know, some countries don't have to have two people present.
Right. So that became very popular during COVID because people couldn't travel. And for other circumstances, maybe you can't return to your home country where your fiance or your spouse is. But it's very important to note, proxy marriages or virtual marriages are not appropriate for USCIS. So USCIS does not recognize proxy meetings or proxy marriages. So for a fiancé visa, you have to meet face-to-face at least within the last 2 years, and with your spouse, you have to get married. Even if you meet once and it's a traditional marriage, you have to get married face-to-face. Can't be over Zoom.
Okay, so far, I don't see any questions popping up, but I wanted to ask you, would you, as an immigration attorney, advise to proceed with the fiancé visa or a marriage-based visa? What are the differences?
So I think it depends on your circumstance. Every case is different. So if the relationship is new, you're a young couple, you haven't really established those ties to one another, or you're just not ready to make that commitment, I think a fiancé visa would be more appropriate. And the benefit to a fiancé visa is if it's denied for any reason, which luckily we have not had any cases be denied. We always make sure our cases are super strong. But if it is denied, you could potentially then get married and do a spousal visa as kind of like your plan B. The benefit with the fiancé visa is that it's a shorter turnaround. But when you come to the United States, you can't work. You don't have work authorization. You then have to take other steps after getting married to then obtain your green card. So it's a couple of other steps after you come to the United States.
And I see somebody ask on TikTok, what is our phone number? So our phone number is 804-408-3522. You can also find our website, and it will take you directly to schedule a consultation. So do use that function. We always have that information in our profile bio, so you can use that as well.
So I see a question here. Can you marry a person that you have been in a long distance relationship with? Yes, that is very true. You can absolutely get married to a person you've been in a long distance relationship with. Again, we go back to those 2 eligibility requirements. So what that means is you have to show that the relationship is true. It's not done just for an immigration benefit. So, you truly love each other. You're in a relationship. You've spent time together. Maybe you traveled together, met each other's families. And second, that you can financially sponsor that person. So yes, you can be in a long distance relationship, bring that person over as a fiance, get married, bring them over as your spouse. When can you with a visitor visa? Okay, so a visitor visa, and I see some of our friends and clients joining, so we want to say hi to you guys. You know who you are. Thank you for joining. So visitor visas, when you have a pending fiance visa or a pending spousal green card application, you're probably not going to want to do a visitor visa. It could potentially be approved by an officer, but the officer has discretion to also deny that visitor visa. They may deny that visitor visa because they'll say, well, you're about to come here as a fiance or you're about to come here on your green card. They would want you to just wait throughout that process and then come and stay, because the visitor visa is for tourism, it's for temporary stay. So I typically don't recommend you file for a tourist visa if you have other pending long-term or immigrant intent visas. So that's what I recommend on the tourist visa.
So can we talk about the terms after the fiancé visa is approved? What comes next? Now we have our fiancé travel to the United States, and which steps do we need to take to obtain the green card?
Yeah, so have you seen that show 90 Day Fiancé?
It's my favorite.
So it's actually true. So when you come on an approved fiancé visa, you must get married within those 90 days. So for those who want to plan a nice wedding, plan it down the road, but you got to get legally married within those 90 days. Otherwise, you will be in violation of your visa. So once you get married, then your petitioner spouse can file for your green card. So you're going to be applying. Best show ever. Thank you, Paul. Good to see you. So yeah, you get married within the 90 days, and then you need to apply for your green card and start the green card process, which you can also submit work authorization, get your social security number, travel document. So those are things that you can have pending the green card process.
On the other hand, if you get I-130 marriage-based visa approved, then do you come in with the green card? So the process is different.
Yeah, so the process for a spousal green card is going to be different whether that person is in the United States. Oh, someone wrote, Elise wrote, great team. Thank you, Elise. So it depends if your spouse is in the U.S. or abroad. If they're in the United States, first they have to enter legally. So that means they entered on a student visa, tourist visa, J1 visa. Their entry was lawful. And then you get married to a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. Then you go through the process, you get interviewed, and when you get your green card, you're authorized to work. If that person is abroad, if your spouse is abroad, we kind of have to break up the steps. So it's not a one-step process, it's a two-step process. The first step is that family petition where we're showing that it's a true relationship. Let's see. There's another question here. I don't know
yes, I'm about to read it.
Okay. So first step is that family petition where you have to show that relationship is real. And then the second step, which is the consular processing, you have to show that you can financially sponsor your spouse. And then they have the interview in the U.S. consulate abroad. And then they come to the United States and they're a green card holder. So that's kind of the process for spousal green card.
So we have a question here. Can I file for someone with my green card?
Yes, you can file for your spouse. Just in the context of what we're talking about today for Valentine's Day, yes, you can file for your spouse if you have your green card. It will be a different process. It will be a longer process. If you were a U.S. citizen, it would be a shorter process. But as a green card holder, you cannot apply for a fiancé. The fiancé visa is only for U.S. citizens.
Okay, we have one more question. So it says, I want to ask, when you enter this United States with the visitor visa, will you be able to marry someone who you've been talking to?
So the visitor visa is a single intent visa, meaning your only intention upon entry has to be for temporary stay. So maybe you came for a friend's wedding, or to visit a family member, or to see a graduation. So that has to be true. If after entering on the tourist visa, you decided that the person you were already talking to, or you met someone and then you want to get married down the road, meaning your circumstance changed, then yes, you can do the spousal green card. Your spouse can petition for you, and the fact that you entered legally will be super beneficial, so that we can do what's called a one-step adjustment, meaning one step, one full package to get you your green card at the end of the process.
We have a question from TikTok. I'm from Ghana and my case pending for 10 years now. When USCIS approves this case, my brother filed for me.
Okay, so siblings, U.S. citizens can apply for siblings. I highly recommend it if you don't have other routes to pursue, but we are talking about a 10, 12-year long process. So it's a very long process. It is kind of last on the priority list is that sibling relationship. The U.S. government just doesn't, they just don't prioritize it as much, so it's pretty backlogged. So you will probably, if you've been waiting 10 years, you probably have maybe 2 more years to go. So I would keep on keeping on if you don't have any other ways to come to the U.S.
So we have a question. So I received my updated social security number in the mail, but no EAD as of yet. Filing for adjustment of status.
Okay. That could mean if you weren't represented by attorney, you may have missed checking a box on a form. So typically the way we fill out forms for the green card is we make sure that the person gets their social security as well as the work authorization, but there are certain things that you have to fill out on the form to make sure you get both of them. So that could be if you're missing they're missing their
work
social
authorization.
Work authorization. Okay. So you're going to have to apply for work authorization based off of your pending application. So if you have a pending green card, you should have filed it all together, would have made life easier. You wouldn't have to pay a government filing fee. You actually may not have to pay it if it's still pending. So basically, you'll have to submit work authorization separately based off of C9 category, right?
Yeah, but I was going to say that perhaps you've already filed the I-765, but you haven't received it in the mail. Do use the tools available to you through USCIS website. You can also call their 1-800 number to check on the status of your application. Sometimes they will mail the card, but it wouldn't get delivered. And that, case status update will clearly say that they attempted to deliver it and if it bounced back. And you can also request it to be redelivered to you. Because from what I understand, if the Social Security was granted, perhaps you did apply for the work authorization as well. So yeah, do follow up with USCIS. Make sure to use anything available to you on their website.
Yeah, they have Emma Chat, which is not that helpful. They have e-tools, and then the 1-800 number. So you can try that as the first step. I see a question here. I'm afraid to go back home to my country because my ex-husband
It's threatening me.
Okay, so These are things that I guess do fit into the category of love for Valentine's Day. Is yes, if your ex-partner or ex-spouse has been verbally or physically abusive to you, this could potentially be two different routes. It could be a U visa for people who are victims of crimes, including domestic violence. So it doesn't matter if you were actually married to that person, doesn't matter what their immigration status is, but you do have to report that crime and cooperate with, law enforcement or prosecutors. VAWA, or Violence Against Women's Act, is if you are you have been within the last 2 years, or you are still married to someone who's a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, and they were either physically or emotionally abusive, you could potentially apply for VAWA, which would allow for you to get your green card as a self-petitioner based off of the abuse that you suffered.
I believe this question was if somebody is afraid to go back home because they're threatened in their country.
Okay. Thank you for that. So if you're threatened in your country, you could potentially have an asylum case. So that's a whole different world. We're not going to go through that today, but definitely contact us because those are cases that we take. So if you have been threatened for your life based off of your race, religion, political opinion, or a particular social group, you could potentially have an asylum case. All right, is there any other questions? I see some more friends and followers. Hi, Terry. Modern Melting Pot has always been an awesome follower of ours. So
Karina Alexeyev said, "You're amazing, guys. Thank you."
Thank you, everyone. Someone wrote, "I got approved for my I-130, married to a U.S. citizen. Congrats." Oh, and then what is the next step? Okay, so after you get the family petition approved, it's going to depend if you're in the U.S. or abroad, right? So we've been talking about that. If you're in the United States, you need to file for an adjustment of status. You need to file for your green card. In the U.S., so that's exactly what you need to do.
So one question, una pregunta, ¿cuánto tarda que mi mamá? Okay, so question, how long will it take for my mother, who is a permanent resident, to add me, to file for me, and he is 22 years old?
How long will it take? Okay. Well, that I would have to look at the visa bulletin to see kind of what time frames we're looking at, because your mother is a green card holder. So that is not what's called an immediate relative. And then you're over 21, so you're an adult child. So you're going to be in a certain preference category. So we would have to go to Department of State's visa bulletin and look at the timelines. I don't know if you remember off the top of your head the visa category and the time frames for February, but it's probably a couple of years. I don't think it's current right now.
It's definitely not current for the children for over 21 of green card holders. There is a significant delay in processing. So just call us, schedule a consultation, and we can evaluate more precisely just for you. We have another question here. It says, my interview was canceled just 2 days to my appointment date. What can I do?
Do you want to answer this?
I would say that in this case, you just have to wait for it to be rescheduled. And if by the time, it depends if you're talking about the interview abroad or in the United States, what are the processing times? If your case is considered outside of normal processing times, you have a full right to follow up with immigration and ask them to reschedule the appointment. Otherwise, you just have to wait for it to be rescheduled. How you help with the B2 visa. We do help with B2 visas, definitely. That's something we practice, so do reach out to us. How long does USCIS takes to process your application from a lockbox? My application was sent out.
Let's go to this question. How long?
Yes, it's not very clear, but how long does it take to get a receipt notice for I-485?
So I would say 2 weeks, 10 days, maybe a little bit longer. It should be a pretty short turnaround. Again, if you work with our office, we track everything. So we figure out when it gets to their office, and then we make sure that we get that receipt notice, soon afterwards. I would say 10 days to 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. Well, we're coming up on all of our questions, and we don't want to keep you all too long because it is Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day. Thank you to all of our followers. We had many people join our live today, so it's super excellent to see everyone joining in and asking us questions. A friendly reminder about the special that we're running. Can you tell them about that?
We are currently running a special. It's 15% off for the fiancé and a marriage-based case. So those cases that we discussed today, you can get a discount, and we urge you to do so because, as you might know, the immigration fees are going up as of April 1st. So we are extending this opportunity, for everyone to be able to sign up on time and, most importantly, file the case before April 1st, so you don't have to pay those large filing fees that are being increased. So yeah, use that opportunity, give us a call, and let's get your case started.
Yeah, the way you can get in touch with us, we do free case evaluations. You can go to our website, you can give us a call. We have a link in all of our social media pages. Click the link, you can sign up for the free case evaluation. We have openings, so we're ready to talk to you guys. So book an appointment. Especially if it's a fiancé or spousal green card application case. We would love to work with you guys. I want to ask one more question. What would you say, Narina, is the biggest tip you would give to someone who either is in a relationship with a foreign national, whether they're in the U.S. or abroad? They're not ready yet, not this Valentine's Day, maybe next Valentine's Day, maybe by Thanksgiving or Christmas, they'll be ready to pop the question or to seal the deal. What would be your tip as an experienced immigration paralegal? What tip would you give them? What can they do up until that process to kind of prepare?
I think definitely we run into a lot of people who don't think to save all of their marriage bona fides evidence in preparation for your future case. So think about it that way. Every time that you see your fiance, you interact, perhaps you go to a concert together or you rent an Airbnb together, make sure to save that paperwork because it will be useful once you are ready for your case. So the little things that we typically don't pay attention and don't save those receipts, those communication letters to each other, do save them, thinking ahead, for your future and how you're going to show the immigration that your relationship is real and bona fide is what they call it. So do keep all of your evidence of interactions and so on because it will be useful.
Awesome. That's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thanks for your support. Make sure that you like us and follow us, share us. We love to see you guys. Go ahead.
Yes, we forgot to say you to be able to get our discount that we're offering, you do have to go to our page and share the reels about the fiancé and marriage-based visa and tag us on your stories. Okay? Spread the love.
Spread the love. Love knows no borders, guys. Happy Valentine's Day from our team. Thank you.
Thank you.